Good Wednesday evening, April 16th, and welcome to the NCWLIFE Evening News. I'm Grant Olson. Here are a few of the stories we have coming up for you tonight. The Douglas County prosecutor has found 4 Wenatchee Valley police officers acted lawfully when they fired gunshots at an East Wenatchee man who fired his own weapon at the Wenatchee Veterans Affairs Clinic. The Washington Senate passed a bill Tuesday morning to try and stop habitual speeders in their tracks. Sunny and cooler for Thursday with a warm-up beginning Friday. Your Easter weekend weather details are straight ahead. A procession of honor Tuesday for a Wenatchee firefighter who passed away over the weekend. Assistant Fire Chief Darren Radcliffe died at his home on Sunday. The Wenatchee Valley Fire Department, where he served for more than 20 years, organized the procession from the Jones & Jones Betts Funeral Home to travel past several Wenatchee fire stations, including the original historic firehouse on Chelan Avenue. About 40 emergency vehicles from jurisdictions throughout the area were involved. Radcliffe joined the fire department in 2002 and was promoted to captain in 2019. He was 57 years old. The Douglas County prosecutor has found 4 Wenatchee Valley police officers acted lawfully when they fired gunshots at an East Wenatchee man who fired his own weapon at the Wenatchee Veterans Affairs Clinic. In a letter issued April 11th, prosecutor Gordon Edgar declined to file criminal charges against 3 Chelan County Sheriff's deputies and 1 Wenatchee police officer who fired on 54-year-old Troy A. McMaster in December of 2023. Police had stopped McMaster on the Eastmont Avenue extension after he fired shots and rammed his truck into the unoccupied building in the midst of a mental health crisis. After he refused to put down his handgun, the police gunfire wounded McMaster through both legs. Edgar wrote that Chelan County Sheriff Sergeants Adam Musgrove and Brian Lewis, Chelan County Deputy Andrew Tilton, and Wenatchee Police Officer Eric Magnuson attempted to de-escalate the situation before shooting McMaster. He has since pleaded guilty to a property damage and firearms offense and was sentenced to probation with mental health treatment. Confluence Health is asking a Douglas County judge to throw out a lawsuit by former employees once and for all, citing a new precedent from the Washington Supreme Court. A group of 82 former health workers sued Confluence in 2023, alleging discrimination after they were terminated for refusing a required COVID-19 vaccination. It's their second attempt after an earlier lawsuit was dismissed. This time, the plaintiffs said the religious faith should have exempted them from the vaccination requirement Confluence put in place for all health workers in 2021 at the height of the pandemic. The Wenatchee Valley Hospital and Clinic System now says the state Supreme Court's case of Suarez versus Washington, decided last year, means the lawsuit should be tossed from court. That unanimous decision ruled in favor of a Yakima nursing facility that fired a night shift attendant after her refusal to work Saturdays on religious grounds caused an undue hardship to the employer. Judge Brian Huber is due to hear arguments from Confluence and the plaintiffs on May 6th. An initiative led by CMI Orchards and Royal Family Farming is set to start turning agricultural waste into valuable soil amendments. CMI Chief Executive Bob Mast and Royal Farms President Austin Allred announced the creation of the Soil Center last year. The center is due to break ground this spring in Royal City, converting tree wood, culled fruit, and cattle manure into products like compost and biochar. The program expects to process more than 100,000 tons of farm waste each year. About 20,000 tons will become biochar, a soil amendment that improves organic activity and water retention. The first customers for Soil Center products will be fruit growers within the CMI network. When we come back, in a signing ceremony this morning, Governor Bob Ferguson put his signature to 2 bills sponsored by veteran 12th District Representative Mike Steele, and Microsoft has invested another $45,000 in scholarships for Wenatchee Valley College students in computer programs. I'm Grant Olson, and you're watching the NCWLIFE Evening News.
It's Click It RV's 4th Annual Family RV Sales Event, April 16th through the 19th. Get amazing discount prices from manufacturers from across the country, like Grand Design, StarCraft, and more. And get $2,500 over NADA for your trade. There's amazing financing with nothing down, low rates, and no payments for 90 days. And talk about giveaways. Win a StarCraft trailer or $30,000 in cash. There's free refreshments and games for the whole family. And just for fun, dunk your salesman in the dunk tank. So beat the coming tariffs and don't miss the 4th Annual Family RV Event at Click It RV, April 16th through the 19th.
When you enjoy Abby's Pizza at your place, close your eyes and you can taste old-fashioned values, classic pizza parlor decor, and generations of tradition. Recreate that magic. Open your eyes and head to abbys.com. With pickup and delivery options, no matter where you dine, Abby's just tastes better. This is Skinny, and he helped found Abby's 60 years ago. In honor of Skinny, we're putting his favorite pizza on sale. Savory pizza sauce, Canadian bacon piled to the edge, and juicy tomatoes make this a very special pizza. Order your Skinny special right now at abbys.com.
In a signing ceremony this morning, Governor Bob Ferguson put his signature to 2 bills sponsored by veteran 12th District Representative Mike Steele. One bill, now law in the state, allows volunteer firefighters to participate in Washington's Deferred Compensation Program. That's a savings account that other state and local government employees have long been able to access. The hope is it will help attract and retain volunteers who are now in short supply at Washington's rural fire districts. A second bill approved today allows public utility districts to use or create their own captive insurance companies to help keep their wildfire insurance coverage affordable. The Washington Senate passed a bill Tuesday morning to try and stop habitual speeders in their tracks. From the Olympia News Bureau, Murrow News fellow Albert James shows us why supporters say mandating speed limiting devices will correct a dangerous trend and why a handful of senators voted against the bill.
Engross substitute House Bill 1596 as amended by the Senate on third reading and final passage.
House Bill 1596 would require certain drivers to install a device that physically limits their car to the speed limit of the area they're in. Similar to how ignition interlock devices are used for people with a history of drunk driving, a person would have a speed limiter after getting their license suspended for reckless driving or excessive speeding, or if they've been ordered to have a device by a court.
It is also a reminder to the drivers that their dangerous driving behavior and hopefully will serve as a tool for lasting behavior change. I encourage a yes vote. This is a good piece of legislation, and I'm very, very pleased to have the opportunity to vote yes on it.
Prime sponsor Mari Levitt of Pierce County argues the bill is a necessary step to curb a troubling increase in fatal accidents. State data shows fatal crashes have been on an upward trend since 2019, with a growing number of them involving speeding. As we previously reported, Levitt was particularly moved by a crash in King County last March that killed a woman and 3 children. A teen was accused of causing the crash by driving well over 100 miles an hour in a 40-mile-per-hour zone. He pleaded guilty earlier this month.
We have called it now the BEAM Act, and BEAM is an acronym for the first letter of the first name of the 4 who died last March in Renton. So Boyd, Eloise, Andrea, and Matilda.
The bill passed out of the Senate on a 40-8 vote. Of the 8 Republicans that voted against the legislation, Senator Perry Dozier of Southeast Washington says while he supports the intent of stopping habitual speeders, he had concerns about oversight creeping onto people with 1 or 2 isolated incidents.
There could be an instance where you have to speed, a medical emergency where something has happened. Maybe your wife's having a baby and you're exceeding the speed limit, and then you get caught like that.
The bill now goes back to the House to concur with the Senate amendments before heading to the governor.
I've heard from the governor's office that they're very excited about this bill and about the ability to save lives, and so I'm feeling very confident that we'll get over the finish line this year.
In Olympia, I'm Albert James reporting.
Microsoft has invested another $45,000 in scholarships for Wenatchee Valley College students in computer programs. The funds contribute to the Microsoft Technology Scholarship, which began in 2023 with an initial $25,000 investment. The Microsoft Technology Scholarship provides financial assistance for tuition, books, and fees for students in Chelan, Douglas, Okanagan, or Grant counties. Eligible students must be enrolled in the Computer Technology Systems or Business Computer Technology programs at WVC, and award preference is for those historically underrepresented in STEM fields. The scholarship will be available as part of the WVC Foundation Scholarship Pool during the fall 2025 open cycle application. Coming up next, after being delayed for 2 decades, the Real ID Act will finally take effect across the U.S. on May 7th. More in tonight's feature story. Sunny and cooler weather expected for Thursday with warmer temperatures on the way for Friday. I'll have all the details coming up in your full local weather forecast. That and much more still to come tonight. Please stay with us.
A ductless unit from Carrier can keep anyone comfortable. Take Shelly, for instance. She finds me time in her new attic-turned-home gym. And with her Carrier ductless unit, the temperature is always perfect. No matter how intense her workout gets. Carrier. Total comfort, totally happy.
Turn to the experts, Carrier and Alpine Air. Heat and air, call Alpine Air. Central Washington Water is home to the Hot Spring Spa for over 45 years. Come see the Freshwater Smart IQ. It monitors your saltwater spa's pH balance, chlorine, and more. Or the cold plunge tub that will leave you feeling rejuvenated. Plug-and-play spas make hot tubbing easy. With great financing available, cold water, salt water, hot water, Central Washington Water has a spa for your budget and your lifestyle. Stop by today.
It's Click It RV's 4th annual Family RV Sales Event, April 16th through the 19th. Get amazing discount prices from manufacturers from across the country, like Grand Design, StarCraft, and more. And get $2,500 over NADA for your trade. There's amazing financing with nothing down, low rates, and no payments for 90 days. And talk about giveaways. Win a StarCraft trailer or $30,000 in cash. There's free refreshments and games for the whole family. And just for fun, dunk your salesman in the dunk tank. So beat the coming tariffs and don't miss the 4th annual Family RV event at Click It RV, April 16th through the 19th.
After being delayed for 2 decades, the Real ID Act will finally take effect across the U.S. on May 7th. The law was first passed by Congress in 2005 to set minimum security standards for air travel documentation. Beginning May 7th, travelers over the age of 17 will no longer be able to board domestic flights with a standard ID. In tonight's feature story, NCWLIFE's Casey Safford spoke with the Department of Licensing official and Pangmore Memorial Airport's director to learn how the Real ID Act will be implemented.
Would you mind explaining for our viewers what the Real ID Act is and how it's going to be impacting air travel identification documents starting May 7th?
Yeah, the Real ID Act is a federal law that sets minimum security standards for state-issued driver license and ID cards. It takes effect on May 7th, 2025. So if you're boarding a domestic flight, you'll need to have more than a standard driver's license. Washington State offers an enhanced driver's license and ID card that meets the requirements of the Real ID Act.
And would you mind explaining for everyone the difference in appearance of an enhanced ID versus a standard one?
Yeah, so a standard license will have federal limits applied to it. So that means that you can't use it to either board a domestic flight or enter certain federal facilities. And then an enhanced driver's license, it'll say enhanced driver's license on it or enhanced ID card, and it'll bear an American flag. We had to work with TSA to make sure that our enhanced driver's license was compliant with the law it is, and with other states as well. And there is a difference between other states and our card is that unlike other states which have a star in the right corner of their ID, ours has the American flag. So you can either schedule an appointment or walk in. I know for the Wenatchee area, there are some appointments around May, but it takes about 7 to 10 business days for you to receive the permanent card in the mail. So if you are flying on May 7th of this year, and you don't have the right ID for boarding domestic flights, you should really look at getting that now and plan for it to take 7 to 10 business days for the card to arrive in the mail.
And I understand it's cheaper if you are just upgrading a standard ID to an enhanced versus getting an enhanced as your first ID. Is that correct?
Yeah, so it's $116 if it's a first-time enhanced driver's license for 5 years. And then if you're upgrading your standard license to an enhanced one, it's $7 per year for the time remaining on your card. This sets the minimum security requirement, so it establishes what documents you need to present to get an enhanced driver's license. And then another thing that TSA has said in their messaging is that it helps counter fraudulent ID cards. So that's how it helps.
Coming May 7th, it'll be required if you're going to fly domestically, which all the flights out of Pangbourne are, to have a Real ID compliant documents. It'll be checked at the TSA. When you go through the security checkpoint, the TSA will ask you to see that document. We have been sharing and updating people and notifying via our social media pages that the Real ID compliance requirement coming May 7th is real, and it will be required here at the Pangbourne Airport. There's not going to be another extension of it at this point. It is going to happen come May 7th.
Time now for a check of your North Central Washington weather forecast. Hope you had a great Wednesday. Quite a bit cooler today than yesterday. And yesterday, we actually tied a record high temperature of 77 degrees. But today, as we look outside our weather window from this afternoon, a few more high clouds out there today. So we saw some filtered sunshine, and that kept our temperatures down. But boy, what a beautiful spring shot of the Wenatchee Valley from our tower camera up on Wenatchee Heights. Those winds, especially for you folks in Grant County, where we are seeing sustained winds of about 25 to 30 miles an hour in Moses Lake and about 30 miles an hour sustained winds this afternoon up in Omak. Gusts could reach 50 miles an hour there. Moses Lake up to 40. Not a lot of wind here in the Wenatchee Valley, but we're talking mainly Moses Lake, Banks Lake, and also you folks around the Lake Roosevelt area. Keep the boats off the lakes this afternoon. We have some strong gusty winds that will subside as we get into our overnight hours. Unofficially today, beautiful one once again, 68 degrees, 62 is where we should be for this time of year. Our record high, 76, and that was set in 1999. Boy, very warm this morning, 48 our overnight low, 40 is where we should be for lows this time of year, and our record for the third day in a row, 2022, where we drop down to 30 degrees. Sunrise 6:10 this morning and sets for us this evening at 7:52. All right, getting you into Thursday. We're going to see some cooler temperatures out there tomorrow, but still above where we should be for this time of year. 65 in Moses Lake, also Ephrata. Quincy, you will see mid-60s tomorrow. We'll be close in Wenatchee as well as Eniat. Chelan at 64, Omak 65. Cashmere tomorrow, a beautiful high temperature of 63 degrees. We shouldn't see much wind tomorrow, maybe just a little bit of a breeze. Tonight, clear skies thanks to this area of high pressure and another one up north in Canada, keeping our weather very stable at the moment. Seasonally cool tonight with temperatures in the upper 30s for lows, so that'll be just a couple of degrees below where we should be. For Thursday, looks like a nice one. Sunny, maybe a little bit breezy in the afternoon. Once again, I think most of the wind will be over in the Columbia Basin. Just slightly cooler for Thursday with highs in the low to mid-30s. And then as we get you into Friday, this looks beautiful. Probably our best day of the entire 7-day forecast. Sunny and warmer. We're talking highs in the upper 60s to near 70 as we end our work week on Friday. And then getting you into the upcoming Easter weekend. Mostly sunny on Saturday, but lots of wind, and we will see that Saturday afternoon. It will be mild, but I don't think it really going to matter much Saturday with all that wind. High temperatures in the mid-60s. And then as we get you into Easter Sunday, for Sunday, mostly sunny skies. Still a little bit breezy right here in central Washington. These mainly high clouds for Easter with high temperatures Sunday in the low 60s. And then as we get you into the next work week, pretty nice weather continues. Sunny skies on Monday. We'll see seasonal highs with temperatures in the low 60s for Monday. And that goes for almost all of north central and eastern Washington. Large area area of high pressure out in the Pacific. And then as we get into the end of our forecast on Tuesday, sunny, just a bit warmer. We'll see high temperatures then into the mid-60s. All right, taking a look at your 7-day forecast, 38 overnight tonight, 64, a little bit cooler tomorrow, but still nice. Boy, Circle Friday, just fantastic. Sunny and warmer, hardly a breath of wind for Friday with highs of 68. And then for the Easter weekend, mostly sunny and breezy Saturday and 65. Easter Sunday, we will enjoy quite a bit of sunshine, just a little bit cooler temperatures with a high of 62. And then it's right back to the sunshine again for Monday and Tuesday with high temperatures then in the low to mid 60s. That's a look at your North Central Washington weather forecast. Coming up next, tonight's sports report with Eric Granstrom and more as the NCWLIFE Evening News continues right after this.
Between juggling groceries, preparing meals, and lending a helping hand, you're a hero without a cape. But who's there to support you? Aging and Adult Care honors caregivers like you, the relatives, friends, and neighbors, helping loved ones remain safely at home. Aging and Adult Care offers chore services, respite, personal care, and more. Serving Chelan, Douglas, Grant, Lincoln, Adams, and Okanagan counties, call Aging and Adult Care at 1-800-572-4459 for caregiver support.
Celebrate Apple Blossom with the Technoplex Youth Parade, Saturday, April 26th at 11 a.m. on the NCWLIFE channel. Coverage is brought to you in part by our Platinum supporter, Alpine Air Heating and Cooling. Also by Aging and Adult Care of Central Washington, Boswell's Home Furnishings, Harvest Valley Pest Control, Merry Maids, Together for Youth, and the Wenatchee Valley Dispute Resolution Center. It's the Technoplex Youth Parade, Saturday, April 26th on your local TV station, the NCWLIFE channel. And a good Wednesday. The Mariners could not hold a lead in Cincinnati last night, falling to the Reds 8-4. Despite a stellar game for Dylan Moore, Luis Castillo had a hard time finding the strike zone, and when he did, Cincinnati batters swatted the ball around the park.
Well, the Mariners coming off a tremendous homestand, 5-1, and it really felt like, especially in that Rangers series, of course a sweep, Mariners had by and large everything going their way. As this is lifted out to center field. This is back by the wall, and this is well gone. Dylan Moore, just 2 pitches into this ball game, goes out to nearly dead center field. Hit hard through the left side base hit. Williamson scores. Crawford advances into second base, and Dylan Moore is 2 for 2. Another screamer off his bat. Well, the Mariners extend the lead in the second inning.
And fastball counts. This is what you have to do to compete. Rolled up the middle. That is through, base hit. Trevino waved on. He scores. McLean takes third. The first run for the Reds on a base hit by Gavin Lux. That is hard hit and through. Game tied. The first hit is a red. The first RBI is a red.
Dylan Moore having a great night. The pitch on the way, swinging a fly ball deep to left field. Dylan having a greater night. Goodbye baseball. His second home run of the ball game. Dylan Moore with a leadoff home run in the first. He had an RBI single in the second. And now Dylan with another home run with JP aboard. And Dylan with 4 runs batted in tonight. And the Mariners lead the Reds 4-2.
Bounce left side. That is through, base hit. Wave is on. A test of a Rosarena. He comes to the plate. McLean scores. Ball gets away. David Cruz flies for third. Lux up to second. It's a 1-run game. Second and third. Set in the air, deep center. Rodriguez going way back. That is gone. Dead center in his debut. The Reds ahead on a Hayes homer. Welcome to Cincinnati. Dead center. Friedel and Steen retreat at the wall. The Cincinnati Reds have won 4 in a row.
Seattle and Cincinnati are playing again today. Game 2 of the 3-game set. That's on Root Sports Northwest. While the Mariners were losing, the rest of the American League West was winning.
Well, except for two teams playing each other. Athletics bombed the White Sox 12-3. Houston shut out St. Louis 2-0. Texas blanked the Angels 4-0 to move into first place in the division. Seattle Kraken ended the season on a losing note last night, falling to Los Angeles 6-5. Seattle let the Kings grab a 6-2 lead before the Kraken began a comeback and nearly forced overtime. The game was broadcast on ESPN.
Here he is on a Bynum looking for Beniers. He got all the way through towards Schwartz. Now Alexiak. Schwartz scores! One out for Schwartz. Schwartz for Eberle. Spins it back around for Matty Beniers. Vince Dunn moved it for McCann. Eberle. Backdoor. Beniers scores! It's a two-goal game. Kings ram it around the wall. Cut off by Burakovsky on the keep. Now Vince Dunn, right for Tolman, and they score! One goal game with 29 seconds to go. Off the faceoff, it's one back to Dunn with a shot that got blocked. Swallowed up by Kempe, and the Kings hang on and win it on the road in Seattle.
Kraken finished 7th in the Western Conference, out of the playoffs for the second straight season. For only the third time since 2021, the Wenatchee Panthers beat the Moses Lake Mavericks last night. Raiden Haynes pitched a complete game and had 2 hits to lead Wenatchee over Moses Lake, 4-2. James Butler drove in 2 of Wenatchee's runs as the Panthers did just enough to get the win. I was alongside Brandon Schmitten with a call here on the NCWLIFE channel.
He doesn't have to go, but he will, and the pitch swung on and hit off the pitcher, bounces behind second base, throw to first is offline, run's going to score. Meanwhile, rounding first and heading for second is Butler, and the Butler exchange collects a run for Wenatchee. They lead it 1-0. We did talk with Donnie Lindgren before the ball game, and he said, I just want to keep Wenatchee under 10. This pitch swung on and fisted into right center field. That's going to drop down for a base hit. Rounding third and heading for home will be the runner James Butler, and he will score, making it a 2-0 ball game. Wenatchee on top. Runner out at second base is Munoz, and this pitch swung on a fly ball right over the head of the shortstop, so that will score a run, and Moses Lake is going to cut the lead in half. He's missing over, he's missing a little high, and the Panthers have been able to put it in play here. Here's another pitch that swung on, fly ball to left field, right to Purcell, runner from third tags, and no throw home, and another run's going to score. The Panthers increase their lead to 3-1. Pitch on the way, swung on and a fly ball over the shortstop's head and running around third and heading for home. The run is going to score on an RBI single by Munoz, and it's a 1-run game, 3-2. Moses Lake trailing now. Back there again with all the confidence in the world. The 1-0 pitch on the way, misses outside, goes all the way to the backstop. Runner from third, breaks for home, throw home, not in time. Wenatchee extends their lead to 4-2. 1 out, 2 aboard. Pitch on the way, swung on a grounder to the shortstop. Double play chance. Flip to second for 1. The relay to first is in time, and that will retire the side.
When you have that, that's a definite benefit too.
Moses Lake bringing the winning run to the plate, or the tying run to the plate, but it will be erased quickly on a bounding ball to Brock Toftus. He will step over and tow the bag, and that will be it as the Wenatchee Panthers knock off Moses Lake in the first of 3 meetings between these two clubs. 4-2 is our final.
In other prep baseball Tuesday, East Valley blanked Ephrata 14-0. Othello shut out Quincy 10-zip. Natchez Valley swept Cashmere 15-10 and 4-2. Chelan got by Brewster 5-2, and Omak 10-run to Cascade 15-3. Eastmont fast pitch softball team split to doubleheader with West Valley yesterday, dropping the opener 2-1, winning the nightcap 16-1. Wenatchee edged Eisenhower 8-7. Ephrata Toppenish 13-3. Ephrata blast Toppenish 20-0. Cashmere swept Natchez Valley 8-4 and 11-7. And Bridgeport beat Manson 21-11. Wenatchee boys soccer team got back on the winning track last night, downing Sunnyside 3-0. Moses Lake shut out Eastmont 1-0. Quincy edged Prosser 3-2. Ephrata stopped Sela 2-1. Cashmere crushed Natchez Valley 6-0. Brewster beat Cascade 3-0. Chelan topped Tonasket 4-3, and it was Omak over Oroville 2-0. Okanagan beat Bridgeport by a final of 2-1. That's a look at sports news. I'm Eric Granstrom. Have a happy Wednesday.
And that will do it for our newscast tonight. For more news from around North Central Washington, you can find us at NCWLIFE.com, on our social media channels, or on our mobile app for iPhone and Android. And remember, if you see news happening, we'd like to hear from you. Email us at news@ncwlife.com or call 888-6295. I'm Grant Olson. Thanks so much for being with us, and have a great night.